Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo, and you've tuned into another live edition of the Locker Gnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short. It's your hour worth of Chris Pirillo. An hour's worth, really. It could be your hour's worth, an hour worth. What's it worth? Well, it's possibly worth doing over again, if you ask me, but this video is live. And if you're not watching the video, you may be listening to the podcast. And if you're watching the video and it's no longer live, well, it was live at one point in time, specifically for my patrons. After I talk about today's brief topic, then I'm moving into Pirillo Picks, and it's a daily show and tell. And then I answer questions from the community and then talk about today's geek news. Most of TLDR is reserved for my patrons, courtesy of ChrisPirillo.com. I have no problem spelling anthropomorphize and onomatopoeia, but I have a problem saying words today. I think it's because I'm tripped up due to today's Pirillo picks that I'll get to in a bit. As I describe the three things that I expect out of the Han Solo movie, the standalone Han Solo movie, these aren't opened yet. I'll be choosing between Batman and Superman in just a tiny bit. I grabbed them so that I could set my iPad Pro on top of them so that you could see the patrons who get credit at this point during the broadcast. Han Solo was my favorite character growing up. I always played Han Solo. It does not mean that I collected everything Han Solo, though. I mean, I really wasn't a fan of figures that had human likenesses as much as I was, aliens and robots and monsters and what have you. So I'm looking forward to the Han Solo movie, but I do have a few things in mind in terms of what I would expect to see and or not see. Now, everyone's going to have a different perspective. Everyone's going to be looking for something different. This is just my opinion. It's my perspective. The first thing I expect, no Harrison Ford. No Harrison Ford is the first thing I expect. And I know people are, what? How could you have Han Solo without Harrison Ford? Well, let's face it. If we were to get a Han Solo movie, Harrison Ford would be a very old Han Solo. Now, that wouldn't necessarily be something that I would be opposed to. It's just that I don't think it's going to be all that practical. Let's face it, an old Han Solo movie is something that we just got in The Force Awakens. I expect no Han Solo whatsoever. Why am I getting a YouTube comment? People still comment on my YouTube videos? Cool. Harrison Ford to me is Han Solo, really, and the two are kind of one and the same. Like, if I think Han Solo, I think Harrison Ford. Like, when I was reading about Han Solo, I think Harrison Ford, because that is exactly who I think Han Solo is. But I don't expect Han Solo to be in the Han Solo movie, the standalone movie, the Star Wars story. If anything, it would take place long before we knew anything about Han Solo in A New Hope, or at least where the character had arrived. Wow. Now I'm getting other comments. That's crazy. The beard suits me. This is the comments I'm getting now, the beard. I'm working on it. Can I continue with my list? And then we will continue with the comments and the live chat and everything. The second thing that I expect and or don't expect is for the actor to disappear in the character. Now, this kind of ties into the first idea that I'm not looking for Harrison Ford in the Han Solo movie at all. Not like the Young Indiana Jones television series. One episode, he appeared at the beginning and then was reminiscing about something that he did in the past as a young Indiana Jones. I like that television series. I don't know if I ever saw all of the episodes, though. But for the actor to just disappear so that I don't feel like I'm watching someone playing Harrison Ford, playing Han Solo, that I'm watching Han Solo. I expect for my disbelief to be suspended. The actor has to become Han Solo. I have to believe that they are Han Solo. Now, this is going to be a monumental task for them to be Han Solo, or to make me feel like I'm seeing Han Solo on the screen. Because again, everything that I've known in Han Solo-ishness has been Harrison Ford. Wow, another YouTube comment. People still comment on those videos. It's crazy. I know this is kind of it's weird because I said I don't expect Harrison Ford, but at the same time, I expect the actor to kind of disappear in the Han Solo character. I'm saying that everything about this movie is contingent on who they select as the actor. I don't know who that's going to be. I don't care. Anthony Gruber has been the name that's been thrown about. I don't care. It could be anybody. I just have to believe that I am watching Han Solo. That's it. That's all I'm looking for. That's all. In certain movies have done well by getting actors to play people that they might have looked like in younger years or at the time the actor was portraying that particular person. So I know it's possible. I absolutely know it's possible. Probable? I have no idea. It's not my responsibility. So I expect no Harrison Ford. For the actor to become the actor's probably not going to become Harrison Ford. To become Han Solo, to make me believe it's Han Solo, without me thinking, hey, wait, this isn't Harrison Ford. That's, you can't walk into the movie thinking it's going to happen. The third thing I expect is Boba Fett. Now, if I don't get Boba Fett in the Han Solo standalone movie, I'm not going to shed a tear. I'm just saying I would kind of expect it because that's what would make the movie compelling. Also give more depth to what plays out in The Empire Strikes Back. We know what happens to Han Solo in The Empire Strikes Back and beyond. Certainly, with any movie that's been produced with Han Solo in it. But what we don't have is a backstory that seems to be a pretty deep backstory between Boba Fett and Han Solo. And remember, I'm talking about canon. I'm not talking about EU and these, flights of fancy and things that were interesting when we didn't have canon, or as much canon as we plan on having. Legends does not count, does not exist in Star Wars, not anymore. And I've talked about that already, so I don't want to belabor that point too much. If Boba Fett doesn't show up, but it just makes sense that it would be Boba Fett as a bounty hunter. Now, they could introduce a completely different bounty hunter, but think about it. Boba Fett could be anybody could act as Boba Fett. They could get a different person to voice Boba Fett potentially, or the same person to voice the Boba Fett that has now been the Boba Fett that we've known since George did the prequels, and George is no longer involved with Star Wars. That's clear as well. And I should probably be talking about that at another point in the future. But to me, if it was done well and the story was written well, Boba Fett and Han Solo playing off each other, I think would go a long way, not just with fans, but if done well, could give that much more weight to what we see play out in the original trilogy. I mean, Boba Fett hardly had any screen time, any lines, or anything. But if they give Boba Fett presence, back then when we see it happen in The Empire Strikes Back, it's like Boba Fett finally got Han Solo. Like, it means something, right? Or it could mean more than it means now if they fill in that story appropriately. And I don't know what appropriate is. So I would expect to see Boba Fett. I would expect Boba Fett to play a big role. I would expect it to be Han Solo versus Boba Fett. Han Solo, Chewie, Boba Fett. But if Boba Fett's not there, I'm like, okay, that's fine. And, Han Solo knew a lot of, people. I would expect to see more Boba Fett than Greedo, let's say. Maybe a cameo from Greedo or something. But those are my expectations or non-expectations for the Han Solo movie. Certainly, I look forward to it. I think I'm going to feel pretty strong about that reason number 2, or the idea 2 that I spelled out. I just want to lose myself in the movie. That's what I want to feel. And then after it's over, going, wow, that's it? Where's the rest? That's a good movie. No matter who makes it. No matter what it's about. I am now going to move on to today's Pirillo picks. I'm going to be finally deciding Batman v Superman. I got the serials. What? There's something else? Oh! I guess they're characters or something? I didn't know. Just look kind of cool sitting there on the store shelf. I know who Batman and Superman are, by the way. So, tune into today's Pirillo picks and enjoy that. If you want the rest of TLDR, you can head over to chrispirillo.com and become a patron right now. Today's free podcast highlight was brought to you by all of my active patrons from chrispirillo.com. If you want access to the full TLDR episodes, both audio, video, past, present, and future, which can be up to an hour long or longer, with even more tech insight from me every weekday, plus other bonus content without ads, and support me at the same time, you can sign up to become one of my supernomies too. This is just a brief taste of what I'm producing for you daily. Again, Get more through chrispirillo.com.